Yay. And we are live. This might be my second live. Hey guys, it's me, your beauty best friend, B.Rich. And I have my homie, my YouTube partner in crime, the amazing DJ Richie Skye is hanging out with us today.
What's going on? Oh, yes, we're in the building today.
I love it. And I said I wanted to have a conversation with you because I know how much you love Housewives. And typically I do my Matcha with Brandon, and I love to talk about the Housewives on Monday morning. And so I could not resist not having a Housewives conversation with someone, a Housewife aficionado like yourself, especially with this reunion. Specifically because this is the first reunion, post-COVID, and they weren't doing it over Zoom. And we know what happened last reunion, and now I want to talk about this reunion and everything else surrounding it as well. Oh my gosh, we have people coming in from Canada. Hi guys in Canada, yay. Long Beach, hi Long Beach. Yes, drop us where you are as you're joining us. I'm coming to you live from the bar in my apartment.
In that good Miami, Florida.
In that good Miami, Florida, drinking this hot AT while I'm trying to with you.
Right, you better curb those curse words on YouTube.
You see, I did, right? So, okay, Terrence, let's start first with the theme. It was all about the dungeon theme. What were your thoughts about this dungeon theme?
Well, I think that the dungeon theme was appropriate. They typically do like something from either a cast trip. Usually they try to come up with a theme that's associated with one of the cast trips. I felt like since the Bolo drama, like the dungeon party was the big event of the season, it made the most sense to have a dungeon style theme. And I had been waiting for them to do an all black theme like this for some time, because they've done white before. They've done like a cream, like a champagne color before, or like some kind of nudes, I guess, before. So this was nice. I thought this was really, really good. And I love that they had taken the dungeon costumes and sort of put them on mannequins throughout the background.
I appreciate a good theme party, don't get me wrong, but it felt like it was supposed to be dungeon, but they got tired halfway and they were like, well, we're just going to call it a dungeon. It almost felt like it felt like it could be like a Blue Lights in the Basement type of party. Like yes, it was dark. Yes, we saw there was a whole Macy's mannequin with Bolo's outfit on it, and we see like these mannequins with like Bolo's outfit.
It's not like you can have Bolo in the background.
Who said we can't? No. That's what the kids on the show.
Listen, he appeared on Watch What Happens Live, and he was Bolo boring. Okay,
was he really?
It was the worst. I was like, if you're going to be on Watch What Happens Live, you're going to be on this national platform yet again to really promote the show, but also to sell yourself. And I just feel like his whole personality, I don't know what he's like in actuality, but I just felt like it fell flat to me on the show. And he kind of refused to give any answers. And I just kind of think that the idea of Bolo is maybe better than having him present for an interview, or to just show up is not as fulfilling. Maybe if he was dancing.
I was going to say maybe, or is Bolo on mute the better version of Bolo? Like maybe Bolo shows up performing his craft on mute, and that's what makes it entertaining. But the moment you have to give Bolo some speaking lines, and side note, did you watch the Aretha series on National Geographic? With Cynthia
I did not. It's on Hulu as well, right? I think.
Is it on Hulu now? I watched it on National
I think it's on Hulu. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, friend, you should watch it. But I was watching one of the scenes, and it was closer towards the end of the series, and Aretha is sitting around the table, and they're doing like a celebratory moment. And I see the camera pan. I'm like, that man looks familiar. Come to find out in the credits, it's Bolo at the table. And so apparently
Bolo is getting that work.
Bolo was getting in the work. Bolo had no speaking lines, but I'm gonna just tell you, even Bolo on silent in a suit just looked awkward. Like Bolo looked like he was Bolo boring in your terms. I was like, look, they tried to put Bolo on, and Bolo still fell short. So we now know that Bolo functioned best in his own lane here, right? So,
and that's Bolo in the buff.
in his counterfeit Chanel. So back to the dungeon. I felt like between those Macy mannequins and the outfits, they could have given me better dungeon theme. Like there could have been chains, there could have been whips, there could have been bars. Like if we're going to talk about dungeon and S&M, like Google what a dungeon and S&M look like and then use that as your set design.
I mean, I don't know what it looked like. So to me, that was as close as I thought it should be. But friend, why don't you tell us what it looked like, okay? Because clearly you were disappointed by what you saw.
So from what I know, allegedly, from my research, and just as an FYI to everybody who's watching, my research is also built around the Netflix show Bonding. It's hilarious. Have you seen it, right?
I've seen it, but I mean, I feel like, to be quite honest with you, the show's amusing. But you know, if you're gonna be doing the bondage and S&M type stuff, I feel like you should really read 50 Shades of Grey to really get that type of feeling. I feel like sometimes your mind is better than what you actually see on the screen. Does that make sense? Yes.
Can I admit that I've never seen 50 Shades of anybody or read it?
That was me smacking you.
Ow! Ow! Can you not inflict violence?
Now the book, I only read the first book. Okay, I got to be clear, but it was good-ish, and I felt like it was my imagination that took me places in that made me think, okay, this is what a boudoir, a sexy boudoir should look like.
Okay, and guess what? Even in your imagination, did the set look like that to you?
It did to me. It did to me. Now, here's where I will say, though. I think that maybe I don't know if they were expecting more of the ladies to kind of pull off the sort of dominatrix look that Kandi pulled off. The only issue that I had with that is that in comparison, after looking at the sort of goth glam that the rest of the ladies pulled off, hers then felt like a costume.
Okay, I agree. And we can go into the next topic, these outfits. So they call you up as a housewife and they say the theme for this reunion is dungeon. And I wish I could show pictures, but literally they pull you collaborate with whoever's styling you and you show up looking like what they showed up looking like. And to your point, Kandi, in comparison to the other girls, absolutely looked like she wore a costume. Now, did I love the outfit on Kandi? Not necessarily. However, Kandi's outfit matched the theme a lot more, even down to her styling. She had that very like 1950s pinup hair bouffant. They deliberately put a red lipstick on her. Give or take I don't know who did her makeup. Makeup artists, don't kill me. That the eyeliner could have been a little bit tighter. Y'all know I do makeup. So the eyeliner could have been a little bit tighter in the inner corner. But Kandi felt more in theme. She also felt like that was one of those leftover outfits Kandi didn't get a chance to wear at Cynthia's bachelorette party. So she was like, let's just pack this one and we'll take it. And then I feel like everybody else just showed up with regular, I'm just going to look glam. Portia's outfit, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, well, I was just going to say this about Kandi's outfit. You know, if she did a speak on it just yesterday, she released it, I think Sunday night, and then one version of it today or yesterday, I can't remember. But in it, she wore something that she said was like, I don't know if it was like a backup for her costume. And this outfit looked much better to me than what she wore, because I think it was a mix between the sort of costumey dungeon element but still a little bit more along the lines of a traditional sort of glamorous looking outfit that we would come to expect from a reunion. So, I don't know. I think that some of the other ladies might have been afraid to really go there. I think in particular, maybe like and I don't know this to be for certain, but because of the negative press that was associated with some of the ladies, I think that some of them might have wanted to steer clear of the bondage looks.
When you say the negative press towards some of the ladies, are you referring to Portia Williams?
I am referring to Portia. I mean, in my mind, and I don't know this to be true, in my mind, it could have been a situation where, there was maybe, some attempt to maybe disassociate herself from that, from the rumors and the allegations and such. And so, maybe she went more with the glam look. But I believe that the person who did her dress also designed her dress for Cynthia's wedding. And as such, it looked very, very similar.
Yes. And that was my issue with it. I'm so glad you said that, because I literally said it looked like she pulled a whole Scarlett O'Hara from Gone with the Wind, took them curtains off the wall and said, make this into a dress. She took her dress from Cynthia's wedding and said, take the arm off, put the split higher, let's zhuzh this up, add some feathers, and now this is my dress. I'm like, girl, naked hair is selling over there. I know times ain't that hard that you can't afford a whole new dress. Like, I felt some kind of way. I felt like she cheated. I was like, this looks like your wedding dress that you wore to the wedding, ma'am.
I think that that's probably the downside of working with the same designer. The upside is, the quality that you're going to get, obviously, but the downside could be that you end up with a dress that looks very similar to something that you've worn to yet another high profile event. So now we just kind of think, and to be quite honest, we all remember that gown because it was such a look and a moment for her that now anything that you do to kind of, follow that up, it looks like, oh, well, you already did that.
So then that should have been the conversation and the challenge she pushed back on whoever designed it and the stylist, because I could wear Dolce & Gabbana. No, I would not wear Dolce & Gabbana. I could insert my favorite designer here. No shade, but we all know they're problematic. I could wear, my Yves Saint Laurent and wear Yves Saint Laurent more than one day and then not look alike. Like, that would be, if you were getting something couture or tailored to you, that it should look deliberately different. It's award season. We've seen the same actors and actresses grace these red carpets, and they look different each and every time. Granted, she's not gracing a red carpet on that level, but she still has a platform. Cynthia's wedding was very well publicized, and so is this reunion. Like, ma'am, make it work, make it look different.
Yeah, I guess maybe she thought it was going to be a big difference because of the hair and the jewelry were, were very like in your face. But yeah, I just, and the thing about it is they have to get approval typically for their gowns. Yeah, I mean, anything you wear when you are doing like a confessional down to your reunion looks, it has to be approved. And I think sometimes the more seasoned ladies, or I should say gentlemen, because the guys have to get their looks approved as well. In terms of if you're a regular cast member, like if you are a regular cast member, even I had to get my outfits approved for the interview looks that I did on Stripped back in the day. So there's a process for, because they wanted to, you got to be able to pop on screen and they want to make sure that everything looks great. And I can't fault them for that. But I think sometimes the more seasoned ladies and the longer you've been on the show, you probably have a little bit more pull as to, no, this is the dress that I'm wearing. Where someone newer may not have as much pull. You know what I mean?
Like Drew.
So it's shocking to me. Well, it's shocking to me that then the wardrobe department was like, "Oh yes, that's the one," unless she said, "This is the one."
So here's the thing, though. So it could be getting approval, yes, but if it falls within the theme, maybe they're not looking at it with a hypercritical eye to say, well, that was very similar to the wedding. Do you not want to do something else? Maybe it's Okay, it's perfect, it's fine. Maybe that falls back onto the job as whoever she hired to style her and the dressmaker to say, these are very similar. We might need to do something different or have a backup, right?
Yeah, I mean, that would have been me in my mind. I would have been, well, I mean, I don't know that I can say that because, I love black. I mean, I wear it all the time, but
Me too.
it's an easy go-to. But I
Absolutely.
think that in that regard, then you have to kind of work a little extra diligent to ensure that it looks dramatically different from another moment that you've had. I mean,
Absolutely.
watching Rachel Zoe tells us that, you know what I'm saying? We want to make every moment the moment. So
Absolutely.
having said all that, I think that she was in the top 2 of best dressed still.
Oh, absolutely. And let's move on. So we've talked about Candy. Now we've talked about Portia. I will highlight, I really do love this whole short hair, Toni Braxton-ish haircut on Portia. I think she looks so sophisticated and grown woman. And I'm not even mad at the makeup that they did for that either. It was a little bit more of like a cut crease and a very like dark smoky, and it was like winged away, all that great jazz. And so I really agree. I think Portia looked absolutely stunning, and it was like the best cut. I just, because she's tapping on my spirit right now, I just want to go ahead and get her out the way. Can we just talk about Drew Sidora?
Yeah, let's talk about her. One of the things that I felt about Drew's look was that I didn't overall, it wasn't to me, it wasn't a bad look for a first reunion. But I felt like, the diamond encrusted ponytail is something that Candy did that for Cynthia Bailey's wedding too. It's like all things go back to Cynthia Bailey's wedding. So I'm like, why would you do that? We already know that Candy did this. Why would you do that same look for your first reunion? I would have preferred her with like some, bigger hair. She'd gotten the wigs and stuff right towards the end of the season. And now when you look at her IG, she's looking like, like she's looking good, like she's looking reality TV star ready, right? So I just felt like that was probably my biggest complaint. There was some oddness to her dress, but I could live with it. What did you think?
Oddness? I think that's a very
it was, I don't know. It was something odd. I don't know.
You mean odd as in it looked like she was about to go to her senior prom, her and Ralph? Like that high shoulder with the bow and down dipped low hair and the ponytail encrusted. Like, to your point, you felt like she did a decent job for her first reunion. However, I would say she did a great job if this was her first reunion because this was the first season. This is a very established franchise. Season 13, ma'am. You have the likes of Cynthia Bailey and these cheekbones. You have Kenya over here. And you have Portia stepping their game up, coming here. And you look like you're about to literally go to prom. Not to
be fair, we don't know who had the final say so in that dress. So there could have been options, and that was the one that was chosen for her.
Or it could have been, you know what? You're right. There could have been options, and I hope
since it is her first season. Sometimes they can, they'll give you a lot more direction your first season.
Well, especially if you showed up consistently looking like the way she did the entire season, they probably had to hire a specialist for her. More direction. How much more do you need? Do you need GPS to fashion? Do you need Google Maps to get you there, man? You got me in my head, boy. I'm so sorry to my beauty besties and the Skye Squad. I try not to go into the head voice. She perplexes me each and every time, and I am rooting for Drew. I am really.
I think we're all rooting for her, but I think it's going to take her a little bit of time to find her footing, and perhaps in season 2, every look will be bam, bam, bam. You know what I mean? Maybe.
We hope, Because what I can't do and what I won't do is her kitten fashions, her Century 21, and not that I'm calling out Century 21, but I'm not wearing nobody's Century 21 on a reality TV show in these wigs that Latoya came for. We're not doing that for season 2. If she gets her peach back for season 2, I pray. There are a lot of great stylists in Atlanta. And if she needs some, I can refer her. But I just pray that she steps it up, because that reunion was very lackluster for me.
But you know what's funny? And I hate to say this because I do like Drew. Okay. I think on my videos, I've been kind of like giving her the business a little bit, but it's not with malice. Okay. But what I will say is this, and it's going to sound like malice, but it's not. Okay. If you Google her, if you go on the Google and you type in Drew Sidora, okay. Now, if you're watching this at home, go ahead and pick up your phone or look at your tablet or your computer, and you just type in Drew Sidora. Now, when you go to images, okay, and you scroll down the Google images, what you will find is someone who is, I would say, probably an actor type woman. And what I mean by that is this. You know, sometimes as an actress or an actor, the actress or the actor exactly relies a lot more on the styling of the wardrobe department for the show or the movie that they're on. Or they've hired a specific stylist mostly for large events. But when you get to those like smaller events where they may have to dress themselves, they may have stepped out that day and they did their own makeup and their own wig. That's what Drew kind of has gave us over the years in those Google photos. So when she arrived on the scene, you know, I tried to be a little bit more lenient towards her on the show because obviously she was still coming from that world. You know what I'm saying?
So I hear where you're going with that. Here's where I have to call flag on the play. I don't even speak basketball. But what I have to say is you can definitely see the difference between her dressing herself when they're shooting and her dressing for an event, whether it's confessional. Two different styles. No shade to the stylist that dressed her. But it still fell a little flat, whether it was the actual outfit or the actual hair or the combination of both. Perfect example. That dress that Drew wore at the very last episode for Cynthia's Christmas party was cute on the mannequin. Hair damn sure didn't look great with it either. But I will also wrap this up by saying, I give Drew a semi-pass, hoping that if she does return for next season, there's more money, there's more budget, and she steps it up and she brings a stronger A game because she's a beautiful woman and she can pull it off. She just needs somebody.
And I like her on the show.
I do too. You know who she reminds me of? She reminds me of a little bit of a version of like Phaedra Parks and Kim Fields. You know, a little bit of holier than thou, but a little southern down home as well. And they're like, blend of both to me.
That is, yeah. I would agree with that.
Right. So I want to see her back. I'm looking at the comments real quick. Someone said, innocent spectator says she needs a referral. I agree. She needs a referral. It's literally. Anyways, let's move on. So I got to go down in order. So we talked about Candy. We talked about Portia. Can we just go ahead and get Latoya out the way? Because, yeah. So if Drew's outfit came from Century 21, did Latoya's outfit come from Party City?
You didn't like her, you know. So you know what's funny is that when we were, I was watching Candy speak on it, and Candy said she felt like, you know, Latoya was one of the people who was also dressed more in the theme, and I was like, oh, you know what? I can see that because she said her dress was pretty much see-through.
It was see-through.
So having said that, it looked more on the negligee side. So it's harder for me to judge it as fashion-y because I felt like it looked like a nightie.
That's fair. And it did look like a nightie that came from, you remember that, not Victoria's Secrets.
Fredericks.
Yeah.
I knew he was going with it. Fredericks of Hollywood.
It sure was a whole Fredericks of Hollywood. Baby, those catalogs used to come to the house back in the day. Okay. That you say it like that, I can understand. I'll feel a little bit better. Does not mean that I like it any more or any less. Well, less. But it does not necessarily mean that I like it anymore just because it felt a little bit more into theme. But I feel like as much as Latoya has really curated a voice of being so vocal about people's aesthetic, hers was just meh to me.
Oh, maybe she should have called Kenya, because I feel like Kenya showed up.
You want to move on to Kenya? We can. Let's move on to Kenya.
Yeah, because I think that Kenya understood the assignment of I gotta knock them dead. And what I liked is that this was not a look that Kenya had ever previously given us for any reunion. I liked the design of the dress. The hair up was different for her in terms of reunion looks. But I felt like she just, I mean, she could have listened, because she has all that hair. She could have easily worn it down and still could have rocked it. Maybe not with that dress, right? Because we wouldn't have gotten the details with the diamonds glued on up the neck. The one shoulder might not have worked as well with the hair down as well. But I just felt like I respect that she did something different. I felt like she kind of went with the theme just a little bit, but not much. And she opted more for glamour than she did dominatrix. So,
couple of things. First point, did she look gorgeous? Yes. And I know you're a Kenya fan. I teeter on
what's so funny? Hold on. I need for people who are listening in from that watched my channel to hear you say that, because do you know what? I get so much flack for being one moment he's just riding for Portia because that's his favorite. Oh, he's riding for Candy. And you're the first person to ever say, I know you're a Kenya, you love Kenya. Now listen, the thing about it is though, I don't have no skin in that game, other than the fact that I love the shows. Now, I feel like Kenya does do some low down and dirty things sometimes. I feel like, everybody, I feel like on these shows, everybody's right and everybody's wrong.
Absolutely. But that's the name of the game, though. That's the name of the game. And you got to be right and you got to be a little bit of wrong. You got to be a little salty in between in order to be digestible and well seasoned. You can't be no bland chicken, because if you're bland, you're a one season hitter, right?
Okay.
So here's the thing about Kenya. She looks stunning, even down to her skin. Her face looked great. She had to wear her hair up because of that big puff over here. Otherwise, she was going to give us very much Esther roll in a dress. Like she was not going to have a neck. And because of that, I thought it made her look more regal. She softened her face and her approach and her look. And I love that there was, the gemstoning on here, the chest, and down the leg. Was it dungeon theme? No, but it was edgy and it was still gorgeous. She still looked like she could have gone to Cynthia Bailey's wedding in that same outfit. Latoya couldn't show up at Cynthia's wedding in that outfit. Candy couldn't, but really, before you even get an invite, sugar. But with that being said, Kenya's outfit I thought was quite lovely, and I'm not mad at it. But I'm gonna tell you who and maybe this is me, and versus you, and for everybody on your channel. Maybe it's because I know you, but I know you do like Kenya. And so it's interesting that people think like you don't like her, but like
that's what's funny. That's what's funny to me.
And I'm always like, why do you like her? Like I'm like, whatever. Anyways, it was literally Cynthia for me.
Well, I forgot she was there.
Because you know why? Because episode 1, part part 1 wasn't really about Cynthia. He didn't really talk to her much outside her super spreader wedding event. But like, and no one tested positive, allegedly.
You know me, I try not to judge that wedding. And I've said this on a couple of other different, interviews and stuff like that. And I try not to judge it because I feel like I understand the wedding planning process. And the wedding planning process becomes a speeding train, okay? That once you're on it, it is hard to get off of that train, okay? And because it's not just one person, I'm sure Mike would have just been like, we can get married anywhere. And I'm sure Cynthia just had this vision of this day. You know what I'm saying? This is going to be the day. This is it right here. We got it all worked out, And so I think there was probably a lot of the runaway train effect that was in play with her. And I think that once she was on that train, she was not getting off.
250 people. 250 people showed up at that wedding in the middle of a Panasonic, Panini, pandemic, everything. 250 people showed up.
I'm done. I can't say nothing to you about that.
But what I'm going to say though is Tracy Chappell said that Richie likes everyone. He wants to see the good in people. And I agree, which is the reason why you're like, I like Kenya. And I heard their attention. It's just a runaway train. In the middle of
I only say that because I know I had to plan 2 weddings in a pandemic. Okay.
Did you? Does everybody know that?
They know.
Okay. All right.
I just ain't posted it on my Instagram yet, but
okay. And a beautiful second wedding, by the way. But which I have not posted on my social media either, because you're not about to curse me out. But I'm not about to get in trouble. But I will say this. As quiet as Cynthia was, I feel like Cynthia is the salve in the group, that she keeps the kind of like it together, and she tries to be, as flexible and accommodating as much as possible. Case in point, and I know I'm going to jump out of the reunion, but I want to go to the last episode. The fact that she held that beautiful Friendsmas and Portia showed up 3 hours late.
I did have a big issue with that. I can give you 15 to 30 minutes. And I do understand that sometimes production could be the holdup. And so I understand maybe an hour. I can give you that, particularly because there are other guests there. But if you show up to my house at 3.5 hours after an event that we have to we can't finish it until it's finished, right? So at least respect the time so we can finish and everybody can go about their life. You know what I'm saying? It's just disrespectful of people's time. And Portia, at least from what we see on the screen, has a tendency to be late. Hours upon hours late. I don't like it.
And on top of that, what burns my biscuits and gets me going, because I like to host things. And if you're hosting something where there's also food involved, where you have to film a scene where everybody's eating, 3 hours late is disrespectful. At this point, the food is cold, the sterno has burnt out, and now the bottom of the pan is scorched and it's dry, and you're now trying to roll on in, try to get you a piece of something. I'm hungry now. Try to get you a piece of something, and then you just want to continue to act like nothing happened. You've added, by being 3 hours late, 3 hours to our working schedule that we got to now make up for. No.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that at all.
Rude.
I want to address this comment. Beach Dreamer. So I had the first wedding that I was planning was for June of last year. That was canceled due to the panorama. So then to have to plan it all over again was just like, so, I mean, I don't want to say it was a challenge. It was just, you'd have to do that whole thing over again. And because I understood that, that's why I was trying to show Cynthia a little bit more grace. Question. Let me ask you this. Hold up. Wait a minute. Because you have a lot of, people and colleagues in the Atlanta area. And this is for those of you who exist in the chatterization as well. Answer me this. Had you, B.Rich Beauty, and you, chatterization, received an invitation in the mail from that good Cynthia Bailey and Mike Hill to attend the extravaganza of the season on October 10th, 2020, would you have gone? Yes or no? Just give me a yes or no. That's all I want to know.
Yes. And I'm going to give you one even further, friend. I felt some kind of way that I didn't even get an invite. And ask me if I know Cynthia personally. Ask me.
Do you know Cynthia?
I do not. I saw everybody, a handful of people I knew, and people there too, that went to that wedding. And I felt like I should have been there. It was literally like the Kentucky Derby of the South for a wedding. That does not mean, though, that it still did not happen in the middle of a whole panini. She was pressed to get married, and literally that guest list was 250 people.
But my question still remains. You would have gone.
I don't understand your point anymore. What's the point? What point?
The point is, you can't talk about her wedding, okay, and then call it a super spreaderization, and then talk about you would have been there if you had been invited. Okay, would it have been a super spreader then if you had been there?
Absolutely, but it would have been 251.
So then you would have had to come back and say, I attended that super spreader wedding of hers. That's what you would have had to say in this chat right now.
Absolutely. And I would have said I enjoyed every single minute. And thank God I was covered in the blood and did not come back with the Rona. Right?
Oh, God. I probably would have been there too.
Right. And I'd have been like, oh, so you're not going to, like, Richie, you going to act like you wasn't there next to me? Right.
But you see me, I wasn't there and I ain't judging. So
I'm acknowledging facts. The fact that people called Cynthia out for having an event that held 250 people inside versus logic. Those are two different things. Logically, I would have carried my black behind down to the A.
And logic would have been right out the window, okay?
I would have worn my mask and I would have been dressed in my all black, looking like Clark Kent and everybody else. Well, actually, let me give a black reference. Looking like Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. Go ahead.
Listen, I mean, again, I forgot Cynthia was at the reunion for this episode. We didn't really get much of her. She looked great as always. That's not easy. It's a no-brainer for Cynthia to look great. I mean, so to me, it was expected. But I need for Cynthia to show off at some point. You know what I'm saying? I need some Cynthia Bailey moments, because when she goes there, she can give you the business.
She does, but Cynthia is never going to be the one that's going to pull out a megaphone or try to drag somebody off of a couch. Cynthia is going to be the one that will try to go for you at the jugular with her words and actions, but she's not one of those overly aggressive people. But we've seen, Cynthia have to knuck if she bucked because people have come for her. But before we wrap, can we just talk about, I have like two more things I want to talk about. Can you talk about Ralph? Because Ralph they pulled Ralph out for part 1. We don't normally see the husbands or the spouses till like part 3. But Ralph was batter up the first out of everybody. And you roll your eyes. Why do you roll your eyes?
I mean, two things, Ralph. I mean, I just, he confuses me, but we'll get to that in a second, I'm sure. And the reason why they pulled him out in this first part was because there are about 5 more friends that have to make their appearance in the next several episodes.
What do you mean 5 more friends have to make an appearance?
We got Latoya just showed up. Marlo's got to make an appearance.
Yes,
Shamia's got to
and
make an appearance. We can't forget Fallon was there, but she wasn't invited. Okay. And then we forgotten about Tanya. Okay, she ain't make it there because she quit filming. But I'm just saying, I mean, you had all these people, these extras in the show. Make some of these other people housewives.
Tanya, well, first of all, we know you want to see Latoya as a housewife. And we won't come at the Ralph, but you want to see Latoya as a housewife?
Let me say this. I would have appreciated it more had she been a housewife, because she was at the center of a lot of drama. And what happens is, because she was a friend, there were certain aspects to her story that got cut, which would have given us better context for the reasons why she was in certain dramas in the first place. So to me, yes, and for that reason, I would have preferred that she was a housewife, so that we could have gotten more behind the scenes, learned more about her marriage. Why was she hanging out with Drew and her pastor? I mean, that's the stuff that we needed to see in order for these things to make sense.
Hi, I have a question.
Hi, you in the back.
Thanks so much. Oh, not the bag. Dang. So here's the thing. I feel like every single new friend that gets introduced to a show has to always come out trying to make a name for themselves, aka swinging in a sense. We saw that when Marlo first came out. Marlo came out hard, but Marlo has yet to earn a peach, though. So, do we want to tackle this subject right now about why Marlo?
Yeah, let's tackle it. I believe. Listen, I love Marlo. I also said throughout much of the season that I felt like. I felt like through much of the season, I felt like Marlo deserved a peach, in the sense that I believe that there are parts of her life that are fascinating, and I would like to know more about them. But I think sometimes what happens is, if they see that they can get you for, if you're going to give them all this energy for half the pay, why would I pay you a full salary when I can get you for this cheap, i.e., Latoya's alleged $1,000 per episode, right? Now, I do think that there may be some behind the scenes drama as to why maybe Marlo hasn't been made a housewife. I don't know if it has to do with, things in her past. I'm not necessarily sure, but I believe that might have something to do with it. I don't know, but I can't say, but I felt like I wanted her to have a peach, because I felt like, here's the thing. One of the most interesting, and just one more thing, and I'm done. I'll let you go. I'll let you say it. But I was going to say that one of the most interesting dynamics that I think that came out of this season, and I felt like it was a real raw dynamic, was the breakdown of the friendship between Portia and Marlo. And for me, that was interesting, because there was an actual, at least from both of their perspectives, or at least from Portia's perspective, there was an actual friendship there. So I guess I just felt like that was one of the more real moments of the season.
Right.
I don't know.
So, okay. Marlo, I'm just going to do just blast out. Marlo doesn't have a peach because people want to know where Marlo gets her money from and how she's maintained and sustained this type of lifestyle, being the grandiose Marlo that she is, right? So that's the first piece. People want to know, what are you doing? And someone said in the comments, or you call it the chatterization, something strange for a piece of change. They were referring to Latoya doing something strange for a piece of change. What y'all think Marlo been doing all these years? So I feel like people want to know that, and Marlo's not willing to share that secret and to come up off of that pot of gold to tell us. The second piece is depends on where you want to go, right? If Marlo really wants this platform to be able to grow and develop and do other things, this temporary sacrifice, talking about where she gets her money from, could potentially lead her to earning exponentially more money in the future. So you just got to do your cost analysis here. Second piece is, and here's the thing. Would I give it up if I was getting this piece of a paycheck? No. But if I can get, a larger paycheck, then I may be willing to give it up. The second piece is it was hard to see the relationship between Portia and Marlo disintegrate, but also Marlo was extra as it came to inserting herself in that Bolo drama. And it was so blatantly extra. I was like, well, damn, I know y'all don't have a lot of action happening because this is a whole pandemic, but Marlo is intentionally inserting herself in order to try to create some kind of moment. And it did not even feel authentic. And because she did it so deliberately, that is what impacted her relationship with Portia.
Yeah. I think that the better choice, and I know people are going to disagree with me, would have been Tanya, who I'm told they tried to get her to be a full-time housewife, and she declined so that she can, still maintain her work schedule, which I completely respect. But at the end of the day, I feel like, she went through so much on this show with them sort of coming at her relationship that it would have been nice to see her get that full-time payment for all that drama she had to endure.
Right. But I think also I feel like, and this might be a little controversial, and you tell me what you think, I feel like Tanya punked out by quitting halfway through the season.
I agree 100%. I totally agree. I think that she should have played this situation the exact same way Portia played it, and she should have just wrote it out. And the one thing that I would never let somebody do at this point in time is I would never let someone else tell my story. Even if that meant that I didn't film with certain people anymore for a while, I just wouldn't do it, but I wouldn't just quit, Right. To me, no, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say my piece at every opportunity that I can. You're not going to paint me in this way. And I'm going to show you that you can't do this to me, regardless of whether or not she was in that room or not. I don't think she should have quit. Because honestly, at the end of the day, Portia has come out of this pretty much unscathed and unfazed by it.
Absolutely. But Portia knew she had to go into that with that I don't give a type of mentality in order to not look like, what does that phrase say? A hurt dog will holler. If Portia went crazy, then it would have been like, well, girl, you going a little hard if this is not supposed to be the truth. And so Portia, I think, did the appropriate amount of defending, and the rest she was just like, it's water off a duck's back. I have nothing to do with this.
Yeah, it's kind of like, if this person is going to be antagonizing you about something that you don't even want to care to disclose, I mean, the best thing that you could do is just ignore that person.
Absolutely.
Girl, I'm not going to give you no energy. That's what you want, so I'm not going to give you that.
Don't they tell you to ignore the bullies? Now, can we talk about Ralph, please?
Oh, yes. Lord have mercy. Speaking of looking guilty, okay.
Oh, you think Ralph looks guilty?
Here's the thing. There, as much as Drew doth protest about seeing receipts, about the printout of the receipt of how many people checked into the room. Girl, you think that the person, if he was with somebody else, they ain't come in the middle of the night, halfway through the middle of the day? Do you think that they're actually going to type on the receipt, woman A stopped by the room at 3:07 a.m.? The hotel receipt don't work like that, okay? And then you got the dinner receipts. Well, girl, don't you think he could have just paid for some of those dinners in cash? I mean, how much sense does this make to her?
So I have never in my lifetime have heard someone say, I asked to see the folio. So what? You look at folios now to know if your man cheat. I mean, I know about Whitney Houston saying the receipt showed, two people eating, but really, like, you asking for the folio? You're asking to see his dinner receipts? Like, girl.
And then that made you feel better. Okay.
Oh, it's only one person that's in this room. Okay. I can only speak for myself, but I know I have left a room key down at a front desk many occasions and many times in the course of my early to late 30s lifetime. Okay. So the fact that She was okay with that. I was like, oh, is that easy, Drew? Okay. Now, the last question is, so what did he do in Tampa?
Honestly, now that's a good question, because I didn't realize it until Andy Cohen said it, that Tampa is like one of the stripper capitals. Okay, so to
I
me,
didn't
I
know
was
that either.
like, I was clueless. I mean, the last time I went to Tampa, I went to that Busch Gardens down there. But otherwise, I mean, that's all I know.
You know what I really want to watch is how their relationship continues to unfold, because what it feels familiar is that he feels like, and not in a shady way like Apollo, but he gives me very much Apollo vibe, except he's not as vocal about it as Apollo was, you know? And we saw what happened to Apollo.
Well, I don't believe I don't think that he has any. I think that his businesses are above board. Okay.
Oh, I agree. And I'm not saying that it's not. I totally agree with you about that.
But I do think that there are some things that I don't like. Okay. I don't like that you think that even if you guys are having an argument, okay, if you leave the house and you need to take a break, okay, fine. But to, go all the way down to Tampa and to not say, hey, you know what? I just need some space to think. I'm going to be here. I'm staying here at this hotel. I'm just going to stay here for the weekend because I need some me time. That is the appropriate thing to do, because the last thing that you want to have your spouse do, even if you're angry, is just to have them worried about what you might be doing, because that's only going to make the situation worse.
And she specifically said she did not know where her husband was. So you're telling me in your relationship, your marriage, it is a-okay for your husband to leave not only the house, but the whole state while you got a house full of children and your mama, and go out of town and you not know where he is? First of all, I got questions. Find My iPhone don't work. You ain't got his location, Drew? Did he turn it off? Like, I need to know.
They probably don't have it. I'm telling you, there is no way they have each other's location. Now, he might have hers because he got the cameras in the house that she didn't know about.
Oh, he
You got to
does
remember
have
that too. You got to remember that part too. There's the cameras in the house that she found out about.
That. Child. Listen, the chatterization, I'm just going to steal your word. The chatterization is saying Portia is grown and and it's nobody's business what she does. I agree, Tracy Wong. It is nobody's business if she laid up on that bolo. And this Brooklyn Star says Tampa is full of nude, if I'm not mistaken. Nude women, nude strip clubs. What kind of nude we talking about? Because we're not talking about no nude lipsticks.
I think it's maybe the strip clubs are full nude. I think that's it.
Aren't all strip clubs fully nude though?
I don't know. Maybe the beaches. I don't know. I don't know what. Well, I don't know. I've been to some strip clubs where I feel like they don't take off all their clothes. You're so used to Miami, you don't even.
Friend, don't do that. You only 2 handfuls removed out of Miami, okay?
I'm just saying, in Miami, the strip clubs there. I only have Tootsie's as a reference.
And I have Tootsie's as a reference as well. And Tootsie was fully nude.
Oh, hold on. Black Gal says, we have a lot of Caucasian strip clubs here in Tampa. It's like 2 black ones, and we were closed in the pandemic, even the beaches. So
the Caucasian ones were open? Is that what you mean, Black Gal? Were the Caucasian strip clubs open and the black ones were closed? Or were all the strip clubs closed? Because if that's the case, strip clubs are closed and the beaches are closed. What was he doing?
Good question.
Exactly.
I don't know. It don't make no sense to me.
And on that note, did we miss anybody? So we talked about Latoya. We talked about Portia, Kenya, Drew, Candy. I think that's everybody in the reunion looks, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are you most looking forward to for the next part, for part 2?
I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the drama that Marlo is gonna cause when she comes out onto the scene.
We gotta talk
And
about Marlo.
Marlo gave a dungeon look-ish.
Sir.
But listen to what I'm gonna say. Marlo's look did not sit well to me. And what I mean by that is I think when you try out a look for the reunion, you should always do it standing and you should try it sitting down. Because when you're sitting down is pretty much when we're going to be watching you the most on the screen. Now, just from the photos that I saw that were released, it didn't look like it sit well. So I have to see it next week when she comes out, and I got to see it in sort of at least the 2D that the TV will give me. But standing up to the side, it looked amazing.
So here's the deal with that, though. She did look like she was going to like one of her homegirls' birthday parties. It did not give me anybody's reunion. And the fact that Marlo spent all that good, hard-earned money on some lipo, and she showed up in that 2 pieces of fabric connected together by a little ring, like that to me was City Trends fashions at its finest, right? And it is not the Marlo expectation that I had. Marlo's outfit in the room while she was getting dressed was an MCM robe and short set that she looked like she was a wrestler. She looked cute. Heck, girl, wear that down to the reunion because that looked better than what you had on.
It's interesting. I went to the designer's website, in their Instagram, because I had to see more of what they did. And there were actually a lot of those similar style cutouts in the dresses around the lower torso area, I should say. But I don't know. I just it was just giving so much bra.
I'm trying to see if I could share it. You know, I'm using the StreamYard for the first time. Sugar, can y'all see this? Can you see Marlo?
No. If you're trying to share it, you have to go share and then go to share screen. And then find.
That's too many permissions to try to do in this moment on my desktop. That's okay. I will process that out for the next time we see.
Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
Let's
see if we can get a little side view. She said what?
So Tracy Wong says Marlo needs to join Nene. Goodbye, Heffa. I think it might be Marlo's time to depart as well. First of all, I feel that's it. No, yep, that is it. Now, I think I might be able to pull up. No, I don't think I have it. Can you pull up her being seated? Because I think that's also something to look at too. Tell me, how is that dungeon theme? Because it's leather, because it's a leather bra. Like compared to everybody else, it just was lackluster fashion for me. And I just can't see it. And I'm just disappointed in Marlo for it. That's all.
Yeah, it was, I guess maybe she was hoping that the skin, like all the skin was going to help give it that element. I don't know. I don't really know. Looking at it here, she looks great. And from the side, I feel like I'm more impressed by her body.
Yeah, she paid good money for it. You should be impressed. If we felt disappointed in her body, then she deserves to get a refund from whoever did her body, yada yada. Okay. Like it's sitting, but tell me how those 2 strings, that leather top is a reunion outfit.
Oh, SPR says it was kind of like that Toni Braxton Grammy 2001 dress. Kind of.
Except Toni was at the Grammys on the red carpet, not filming for a reality show with a theme?
Grammys 2001. I forgot what it looked like. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was the outfit that sent the entire America up, honey. Yes, that Tony served in that.
Okay. I mean, you know, I can see that semblance.
All right, DJ Richie Skye. Thank you for spending it's been an hour. I didn't even think it was going to be an hour. Guys, thanks for joining. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, feel free to do so. It's B.Rich Beauty. In fact, I'm going to post it in the chat. DJ Richie Skye, what can we expect from you? What's going on?
Things that I have coming up, as I talked to you about earlier, I have a product coming out. I think I'm going to chronicle that process of launching it on another YouTube channel, but I still need to figure out the logistics with that. I have an interview with behind the scenes interview with Monique Samuels coming out. Nice. That is going behind the scenes of her Binder Time stories. So we're going to talk all about that, like the why she did it, because I know a lot of people was wondering that, you know, how it was filmed, stuff like that. So that's coming out. And yeah, more news, really, honestly. I'm trying to simplify my life, so I'm trying not to do as much right now. But go figure.
Listen, as you try to simplify, you're still super, super busy. And for me, guys, you can catch me Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays with Matcha with me, hot topics as I get ready. And always Sunday, we do artistry. So join and become a beauty bestie and subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you on YouTube and on Instagram at @BRich_beauty. Have a great one. Bye, DJ Richie Skye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye. Bye, Sky Squad.